light of the universe, exquisite, perfect, innocent newness. To accept within your being innocence and newness is the very essence of the realization that the truth of love is reborn every day, every moment. It is never the same as you thought it was. It's renews itself every day, every moment. Not that there is a day that has to be attached to in any way, but it's all brand new. And in that newness, you have nothing to carry with you. You have nothing that you can attach to from what you have known before. Every day, every moment, renewed. There's absolutely nothing that can be attached to, latched on to, of the same. And this is all in divine perfection because love cannot be attached to as if it is a something that is known. The ego mind wants to latch on to everything. And out of fear says, give me something that I can recognize. Give me something that I can make what I know. None of this is in a conscious state, but it runs the show. And the way of divine love calls every beloved to be present. And this is a term that is used a lot, be present. But being present means this moment is all that there is. And this moment is perfect. This instant has nothing that can attach to anything else. This instant is complete and perfect and whole and everything of all creation. But there is nothing there in this instant that is someone's belonging, someone's ownership, that there is no one, someone that can hold and make something different out of it or something personal out of it. That's why it seems that love is slippery and not able to be grasped in the knowing. The brilliance of the universe cannot be corralled. The brilliance of the flow of harmony and joy can only be joined as if you were getting in a boat and floating with it. There is no pulling on it and making it particular to one or another. And that beauty would be not the beauty that it is if it was able to be harnessed or corralled by individuality. The individuality in itself proclaims that one is separate, and this has no truth. So it is the acceptance that you're willing to melt into love, that you're willing to melt and be that love because you are that love, but to allow the surrender of the heart and the being that is ready to melt. Ready to melt because you're melting into truth. You're melting into your very nature, your light. And your willingness to melt is the power that brings the power of transformation to you. Let it have you. Let it have its way. The mind in this world would love to figure out how to identify and define what it's all about. And the more that you can surrender the idea of knowing what it's all about, then the opening is there that says, I'm willing to have all of this sacredness and love and light meet here in the truth, in the heart. Innocence beyond anything that can be touched. So pure, so perfect. Not one element of a separate opinion, not one element of an idea of an I being in separation. Not possible. Power of God that creates and created this beauty, this light. It cannot be taken and used. Love can't be used. It can't be kidnapped or anything. And when there is the belief that love can be taken for a separate agenda, the beloved will eventually remember, learn, discover that what was corralled wasn't love at all, that what was trying to be used wasn't love at all. And this is where all the longing is. Because there is such a strong identity that wants to capture the truth of love rather than just being the truth of love. Sleeping, laying, absorbing, resting, sinking. Just the truth of love. That truth is within, in this sacred space of the heart. That truth lives, exists, creates, even when there's no awareness of the creation, because this love is never in separation. Even though the mind of the ego says, I know something separate, that love is always the divine connection to the universe that cannot be touched or changed. In all the lifetimes that anyone has walked through, has not changed the brilliance of the love within you, hasn't even touched it. Just this love is waiting for space. It's waiting for its space, its oneness with the universe to be allowed. Just allow. But even when there is not an awareness of that exquisite love, that brilliance, you can accept that you are that love. Just accepting it, resting in it. Even if there's not even a hint of connection that you can recognize, accepting it allows the resting, and then you choose to rest. And you choose to begin to turn constantly to the divine to show the way. The power of the universe is with you constantly, can't be separated from you. And that power, that divine wisdom is your holy teacher. The universe, the power of God is yours to learn from, to surrender to trust, and then to return. But you can't return unless you can trust. It's not possible to barrel through some way. The trust is what everyone is learning to trust the teachings of love, learning to trust with devotion and obedience in a way that this world has never shown, has never had in any relationship with anything. In this world, the relationship is tenuous, very tenuous, very fearful. And its whole relationship has been built on that fear, that caution, that doubt. And you can't take that way of being and bring it with you. It has to be let go, unlearned. And as you learn to trust, faith in the eternal, and the ego is screaming, this isn't a payoff that is proving to be what I want. But that ego screaming is comparing what it thinks it knows with what is offered. And it can't be compared. Not even touched in any way. Can this heart, can the brilliance of creation that is within meet that love within this dimension? Yes. Yes. But in that love, there is no me. There is only the light of God. Open your willingness where you think you are as willing as you possibly can be, and then the divine says, come on, stretch, open, trust. Just don't put the old parameters in place of I'm only going to go this far. Instead, push past that and just expand into what you thought was beyond expansion. It's very much like standing on an edge of a cliff. And you don't know if you're going to need to jump or not. But it's essential that you come to the place where you're willing to jump. It isn't necessarily necessary that you jump, but that you're willing. And then from that willingness, the Holy Spirit can open that door and pull you along because you're willing. Allow that this moment is the only moment, and here is all love. The universe is all love. There is nothing here except love. There is no one here except that is love. This room is filled with love. This room is filled with divine beings of love. All these divine beings are drawn to love, drawn to light, drawn to prayer, drawn to requests of help. And the purity of these divine beings is the purity of God. They are a bridge. And when you believe somehow that you're alone with your thoughts of any kind, just be aware that there is a divine being with you, gently sending you waves of love to let go of whatever thoughts or ideas are running that say, I am separate. And the divine guide is pulling you ever so gently back into a place of awareness that only love exists at all. Everything is love. Trust all the divine beings that are sent to you. No one is without the help that comes always. As soon as you say, I'm willing, help me, love answers. And everyone is here just to learn to love. And it has nothing to do with the idea of love that has been made within the world. To open to the truth of pure, innocent, every moment, new love. This hymn I've sung a few times, but I'm called to sing it because it allows a deep place to be brought to the light. And so many times the fear of opening the heart and asking for what you truly want so deeply that can be a fearful place. But this hymn is the other side of that fearful place. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. This pain has been my life. Only you can set me free. Your love can set me free. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. Mother, oh my mother, release me from this pain. I want to be with you. I want to know your love. Please help me, my mother, to feel your love. I want to know your love. That yearning is not for the Divine Mother. The Divine Mother does not need for anguish to be there. But when you feel and you touch into how deeply you want to remember, that's what gets answered. To break through the reserve that so often accompanies the ego spiritually, of being able to touch the yearning, to touch the deep wanting of remembering, and letting it be opened. And that yearning becomes devotion. That yearning becomes willingness. And have no doubt that when you touch that place, the divine love that comes to comfort and comes to reassure that your prayer is always answered, your prayer is always received, and the Divine Mother, who is always with you, but in that moment, the strength starts to be recognized. That there is such a strength in expressing what you truly, truly want. Gives you strength. Because when you touch into that place of what you truly want, you're touching into the power of God. The willingness that wants this is already so connected and is such a lifeline of truth that it starts expanding immediately. Because you're not as deeply invested in the game, and you're stepping into the deeper truth. And love always answers. Always. I must love with all of my heart. The Blessed Mother is the one who has called to me to love God with all of my heart. My Blessed Mother, my Divine Mother, hold us in the truth of forgiveness as we forgive all that we have had in our minds. We are here to remember the truth of love. Divine Father, Divine Mother, we say yes to the forgiveness so that we may remember the truth of love within the heart. Eu devo amar no coração. Oh Virgem Mãe, foi que me deu para eu amar ao Senhor Deus. Oh Virgem Mãe, Divina Mãe, vos nos perdoe, nos pecadores, para nos amar ao santo amor. Divino Pai, Rei Criador, vos nos perdoe, nos pecadores, para nos amar com grande amor. These love songs, These are the love songs to the divine. And when you are singing in your heart a love song, your beloved will answer and can't resist that love song. The beloved of your guides, the beloved of the Divine Mother, the beloved of the Divine Father, all the aspects of love itself, receiving and swimming in that love song. I must love. There are several offerings that are here for this moment. Manic screaming. We should all make all spiritual talk simple today. God is trying to sell you something, but you don't want to buy. This is what your suffering is. Your fantastic haggling, your manic screaming over the price. God is trying to sell you something. The only question is, are you buying? It goes back and forth for most. But the more that you can recognize that God is always in communion with you, and if it is not in your awareness, it is because you don't want to buy. Because there is a unconscious but running belief that says, I don't want to buy. This is not a place of condemnation. This is a place of fear. And the only one who can recognize the fear is you. Because in the free will of love, it is actually a choice that we're always making. And that choice is painful. That is what your suffering is. Your fantastic haggling, your manic screaming over the price. To forgive yourself this agreement and to see it for what it is. The difficulty in seeing it is, of course, the ego does not come and say to you, hey, look what I'm doing. Want to watch? No, the ego slides in, and the belief within each one is, oh, this is legitimate. This is legitimately me. And the stronghold of the identity says, I'm going to break through and be in charge of all of this. Except it keeps being so painful. And even though in that hymn, asking for help can sound painful, it's where the pain has been opened, and it's now the wound is now flowing open, being cleansed by your very willingness to have it cleansed, and not to keep trying to haggle with ideas and holding on to a knowing that is just painful. I can say again and again and again that everything that you think you know was made up in the past. That's clear, clear, clear. But it's not easy to see that it touches absolutely everything. I think I know this is hot. I think I know this is cold. I think I know this is purple. I think I know this is green. I think I know what 5 feet is. I think I know what 2 and 2 are. I think I know how this language works and how words work together and how they conjunct with each other. And I think I know. And I think I know how to walk. And I think I know how to talk. And I think I know that when I see something, I think I know what it is. There's no end to what you think you know. And the dismantling of that does not leave you without being able to move within this third dimension. But it has to be dismantled so that the truth can have room and be present. All of that knowing in everything. There's a place in healing that you enter into in the willingness to surrender all of this knowing and be stripped clean. And you can be stripped completely clean of everything, which is the healing into truth. And your memories will be washed. Only the love will remain. And all of what you thought you knew becomes unreal. Still usable in a certain way, but with a new commander. The Holy Spirit is now owning everything that you thought you knew and can use it for love until you are completely merged into that state of love. And that happy dream, when the Holy Spirit is using everything that you have surrendered, is a place of ease and freedom. And it is yours. And it is the way that transformation occurs and healing actually happens. Because healing is real. It is the power of God transforming and releasing you from a false imprisonment that has not served you, of course, not served anyone, and allows the space for your true magnificence to be remembered and lived. So the manic screaming can stop, and the acceptance of healing can open. Forget every idea of right and wrong any classroom ever taught you, because an empty heart, a tormented mind, unkindness, jealousy, and fear are always the testimony you have been completely fooled. Turn your back on those who would imprison your wondrous spirit with deceit and lies. Come, join the honest company of the king's beggars, those gamblers, scoundrels, and divine clowns, and those astonishing fair courtesans who need divine love every day. Come, join the courageous who have no choice but to bet their entire world that indeed, God is real. I will lead you into the circle of the beloved's cunning thieves, those playful royal rogues, the ones you can trust for true guidance, who can aid you in this blessed calamity of life. Look at the perfect one at the circle's center. He spins and whirls like a golden compass beyond all that is rational, to show this dear world that everything in existence does point to God. The golden compass is the realization that everything has to be surrendered. So how do you stop being fooled by the empty heart and a tormented mind and unkindness and jealousy and fear? It's to no longer want outcome of any kind. The ego would like to have outcome be, I have an idea of how it should be, but because every moment is for learning, an outcome really cannot have any better or worse outcome. The outcome is maximum for your learning and will serve you completely. The outcome, it's never tainted with punishment. It's never tainted with, you're going to be taught a really hard lesson this time. There's no hardness. There's no punishment. There's nothing of any vengeance or grievances within the truth of love itself. Every outcome is perfect for your learning and lifts you into a deeper and deeper vibration of truth and cleans your soul at the same time of all perceptions. To turn your back on those who would imprison your wondrous spirit with deceit and lies. Turning your back on deceit and lies is not turning your back on every beloved, but to refuse the deceit and the lies, to see past the deceit and the lies, and to continue to love, to continue to ask, how can I be of service in this moment? I don't know. In that moment of seeing deceit and lies, however that reveals itself, you cannot know in any way, shape, or form what is most helpful. You cannot know until you ask. You can't, because it's a mystery beyond the capacity of the ego identity. And without asking, you aren't open to the communication. Deceit and lies may have you having a reaction that says, ooh, I don't like this, therefore I don't like them. I don't like this. I need to straighten them out. I need to correct them. I need to judge them. I need to be afraid of them. And check the box, none of the above. Because none of the above will bring you to love. But the Holy Spirit, the willingness to ask, how can I serve? How can I see this differently? How can I see the truth? Please help me. That is already the offering of love, because you are willing to be and to go beyond the knowing of this little mind. The golden compass, where you can join in all of the love. And you're calling on all the divine beings to help in every moment, that every situation is given to love as deeply as possible. And that you are no longer afraid of not knowing. Because there is a fear, for sure. That's what the ego counts on, is the fear that to not know is to not be in some kind of pretense of control. Or embarrassment that you should know and you don't know. So you have to say, I don't know. But once you start to enter into not knowing, it's where you are resting. And love really, really is in charge. And maybe for the first time, you are aware that everything that's moving is just an instrument of love. Because you don't want anything else. So you turn your back on the deceit and lies, but you open your heart through the willingness and through, yes, show me the way. This moment. I want to learn to love in this moment. And in that, that every beloved finds the teaching or the teacher or a combination of both that are essential for remembering. Hafiz wrote about his relationship with his master. And this beautiful awareness it illuminates so much. Hafiz speaks of the exquisite love a spiritual student feels for his teacher. The master becomes the personification of love and the focus of the student's devotion and longing. This association of spiritual student and teacher can become the most intimate and deeply personal bond of life, closer than all other relationships for a while. The beauty of this is that it isn't personal. It isn't, and yet it is so necessary. It is so necessary to feel and to be able to love another, because they're there purposefully to serve you. I love the teachers that were sent to me. I love them with such an incredible gratitude of recognition that it was their purpose and they fulfilled it. And I've told this many times, but there was a day when I was with Jose and he had been walking in the dirt and he was wearing white shoes. And all that I wanted to do was to wash his shoes. If someone had said to me earlier in my life that I would want to wash somebody's shoes, I would have been insulted, because it would have seemed like groveling or being less than the one whose shoes I was washing. It's such an important element of recognition that God is sending you such the perfect person, the perfect teacher. It doesn't mean there's only one, but whatever. For Hafiz, it was 40 years with the same teacher, but that love is so essential. Because the love is what opens to the trust of God. It opens to, if I can trust this love, I can trust all love. And it's meant to be a full-on expression of being divinely adored. To be divinely adored. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to behave in any way. It pierces through everything that you've carried as your identity or anybody else's. And it's just the acceptance of pure love. No story, no making sure that someone's eligible. It's the natural movement of love's healing. And it has to be all-encompassing, because your yes is all-encompassing. And it has to reflect that yes. It has to hold that yes. And the love never ends. Never ends. When my teacher passed, it didn't end. Hasn't ended. It never ends. And that love is so, it has no junk to play with. It just allows you to be loved and to accept it deeply. Hafiz speaks of his love. Their association teaches can become the most intimate and deeply personal. Personal, I wouldn't use that word because it goes beyond the personal, but it is adoration. It is washing your shoes, washing your feet. So grateful for your yes, that everything is in perfect harmony, always. And in the journey, when the teacher says, come this way, and your ego doesn't want to, the ego can play all kinds of games with that, but it won't find any truth in its own lies and deceit, because love will not change, will not. It's kind of like a kid who is tired and throws down a glass and expects a big reaction. And all it is picking it up and cleaning it off and carrying him to bed. Unconditional. Never to be minimized in any way, because it's all inclusive, all love. Happily. And when the teacher says, come into silence, stay in silence. A day of silence can be a pilgrimage in itself. A day of silence can help you listen to the soul play its marvelous lute and drum. In Not, is not most talking a crazed defense of a crumbling fort? I thought we came here to surrender in silence, to yield to light and happiness, to dance within in celebration of love's victory. This is the center of the communion, in the silence, when you don't know anything. And you can be helped to listen to the soul play its marvelous lute. And to recognize that all of the talking, or most of it, is a crazed defense of a crumbling fort. What is it if you're with a beloved and you have nothing to say? Do you need to fill the space? No. You can meet in the heart and just love. Walking in the world of love with beloveds is a sacred walk that is a different schoolroom where everyone is and can have the same intention, to just love. A day of silence. The not knowing will prevail, because it's where everybody will go. Because at the bottom line, it's nothing, you're not here to change the world. You're here to change your mind about the world, and what you thought you knew about it, and what you thought you knew about anyone or everything. Letting it all go. Allowing. And to bring into divine practice with each beloved that it is not up to anyone to change another, but to accept and see the divine beyond. I must love because love is the truth. Love is your light, your beauty, your perfection. Love is everything and nothing, but everything. I must love.